Good morning, my friends. Hope you're well. You saw in the last video, it's kind of in a holding pattern. Still am. I've got all this stuff coming in Wednesday. I got my Vanity coming in, my counters coming in. I've got all the trim and baseboards coming in. So Wednesday's a busy day, all this stuff coming in. FedEx is delivering the butcher block countertop. The sink, I've got to pick up at Lowe's. Not exactly sure when that's going to be in. That's one that's not an in stock. It had to be ordered, which is fine. Once I get all this stuff rounded up, get a game plan this weekend, I'm going to be busy. And the focus is to get the trim and baseboards done first. We'll do the counter sink. And then once we get that, man, plumber can get into the set out. We get all that Vanity in, of course, and then get everything done and get the counter and sink done. Get that first before the plumber comes in. Once we get the counter and sink and the baseboards and trim, the plumber can come in and finish his part. And then I had to make a checklist of all the stuff I've got to round up and do and get my mailbox. It's been ordered. We're going to get that put in. I'm just thinking, man, the box I ordered is cool. It's what I want, but they make the post where you can slide it over a 4x4 pole and bolt it in. But this particular post may not be the case. I may have to concrete it into the ground, and that's fine. I'm okay. I can mount this box on a wooden post if the metal doesn't work out, but I think the metal will. I just have to kind of dig the hole and get everything done to about 41 to 45 inches high for the post office. And there's no curb. It just has to be just inside there, off the street, the pavement there. It's kind of weird because there's a lot of dirt and the property is really old and no one has lived there for a very long time. So probably about 15 years, maybe I would say, or more. 16 years, but be it that it may, the postal carrier told me where to put the box. She wasn't ultra specific, so she's fine with whatever. I think the height of it has to be, and we'll get that. I'm not worried about that. So, but we're gonna get it. We are gonna get it. Indeed, we're gonna get it. So with that said, I will check in once that is in motion, man. A lot of this stuff, as usual. I'm trying not to make these videos too long. I know the one I did with completion of my floors was almost 30 minutes long, and I know that's long, but there's a lot of stuff in there that might help you passing along and documenting this, you know, and that's okay. But be it that it may, we're getting on it. That we are, my friends. Once I get in this house, get myself settled, I can start cranking up my year for my music. I do somebody asked, what do I do for a living? I write music for film and TV. I spend a lot of hours with that. But also, I'm a part-time, I guess technically it'd be like an emergency medical courier, but I courier a lot of stuff, and I travel a lot, all over the Southeast and various places. And I could get a call also, as a courier, what they call these hand-to-hand deliveries, where they put me on a plane and I have to hand a package the size of the palm of my hand to somebody or deliver it, take an Uber and deliver it to them and Uber back. And it's pretty wild. I mean, I've delivered to a lot of things to a lot of places, but that's one thing I haven't done yet. I almost did it about a year and a half ago. They almost put me on an airplane to the West Coast to deliver this package to somebody, and I'm not exactly sure what it was. It's very small, but I've yet to do that. It'll be an interesting experience. But I love the courier thing because it's part-time. I'm my own boss. Basically, I work for myself. So you guys wonder what I do. I do that part-time around my music, and I stay pretty busy. I work a lot. I really do. So that's kind of the reason trying to get this house done is fitting the time and juggling all this, getting it done. Not to mention the process, because I'm self-contracting it, and I don't have like a huge crew of people knocking it out, it's taken a long time because of that. And if you do this, a shed to tiny home conversion or build your own house, you're going into the legal route and having to go through an architect, engineer. It's going to take you a while, Be patient. This is not instant gratification by any stretch. Whatever size home that you decide to build on your own, whatever you decide to do, you much as I like to get things done and want an instant gratification, it's not going to happen with this process. It's not going to happen at all, my friends, but it will. Just do the right thing. I mean, people want to do this and try to be off grid and try to get around the legal way of doing it, but I'm telling you, we'll talk about that when I break down the cost of this. I'm going to break down everything. You know, you don't want to do things that could get you into a huge loss in the future. You know, you want to get home insurance, but you're not going to get it without a building permit, a certificate of occupancy. You're not going to get, some states, and South Carolina is one of them, you're not going to get power on that house without the building inspector giving the okay. Power company's not going to give you power. They may give you a temporary pole, but eventually they can say, are you doing anything? Because you can't have that pole permanent. South Carolina is like that. I haven't really found out, though, in your property, if you're telling them you're just doing it to plug an RV in, they might get permanent. I don't know. That's something I didn't ask. But for a structure that's being built and for code, you're not going to get power unless you get the the building inspector, and you go through that inspection, they give the okay. So in other words, the county or the state sends a message to the power company. It's almost instant, and they schedule in like they did for me the other day, and they bring power to it. So there's a reason why they do it, and I get it. You want to do that. So anyway, I'll check with you as we get to our next step. It's going to be cool. Oh boy, I tell you, I'm ready to get this house done and get myself settled. I really am. Getting anxious. I'm on the finishing touches of this thing, and I love it. Finally, at that point. So I figure I'm just driving here. I went out of town. I had to go to Savannah, Georgia, to pick up some stuff to take back to Charleston. But I just kind of wonder, I look at some of these Facebook groups of people doing what I'm doing. And some of them are just buying these sheds right off the lot and just starting to build them. And I guess they're building on land they have, but what I can't figure out is how they're getting away with this stuff without going the legal way or getting power to it. But it goes back to what I said earlier. Some states, the laws are different. I don't know. Why would they not want to do it the right way? So one, it can become real estate. Two, they could get proper insurance on it. I don't know. So, but I tell you, there's some of these guys that built these things that look nice and done a good job with it. And I see a lot of them went kind of the unconventional way of doing it. They put shiplap on the walls and stuff, which is quite a bit more expensive than sheetrock. I'll tell you that much with the price of wood. But it would be nice. I mean, it takes a step out of it, I guess, for what you pay for the shiplap and sheetrock and everything. I mean, it's probably maybe a couple of grand more than what I spent on the sheetrock for everything, you know. Maybe not quite that much. I don't know. I thought about that, and I wondered if I would have done that on the walls and painted it white. It would have been different. But it makes for things that are harder, and that's for sure. That is, you know, the electrician, you got to cut around his boxes. Harder to cut the wood than it is to sheetrock around those power boxes. But it can be done, you know. You just have to have the right things to cut the wood with. It can be done. It's not impossible. You know, it's what it is. But like I say, you look at a lot of these guys that give you pretty good ideas, but I see the most of them just buying the ones off the lot, and they're not really built for residential because the walls are shorted. You got to remember, if you do something like that, your walls on those things, if you measure them, are only about 6.5 feet tall. They're not 8 feet like or close to it like, you know, the conventional walls of a house. And a lot of other things. A lot of, depending on the manufacturers, why I went with who I did, is that they frame really close to residential, and they were willing to go with the plans and actually do the house the way it should have been, which I think is pretty cool. So, but be it that it may, it's ideal for me, and it's living in my little cabin. It's gonna be cool. I love it. So it's Perfect for me. So, like I said earlier, I'm just in a holding pattern. Everything comes in Wednesday of this week. My mailbox comes in, so my game plan is the trim and baseboards first. Trying to find somebody with a table saw who can rip those the width of some of those boards for me. Get my mailbox up, and then get the counter and sink, and then get the plumber in there. Whichever comes first on the mailbox or the counter. But the plumber will come in as soon as I get the counter and the sink in, and most definitely get all the baseboards and trim. And then from there, it's real small stuff, window blinds. I mean, that's like we're within a week of moving in, probably, that kind of thing. So we're getting there. That we are. So anyway, I figure I'd get on Bab a little bit while I drive. So just driving over the Savannah River here, out of Savannah, heading back to Charleston. So anyway, I'll catch up when we get to the next task, which I'm thinking first and foremost will be the baseboards and trim. It's going to be a little work. I've got to go get the miter saw from Clancy. I got a blade for it, and he's going to walk me through that. It won't be hard. There's a laser on it, which is good. That'll help. Dummy proof, man. I need everything I can get with me. So get that and round up everything I need, and I'll be ready to get that stuff cut and installed. It'll be cool. So we'll see what we can get done, folks. Good morning, my friends. I'm just waiting for Lowe's to deliver the bathroom vanity and the baseboards and trim. They won't be here until about 10 or 10:30, so it's a good time for me to sit around and do some measuring. I got my brad nailer set up. I know how to use it, pretty much. I guess I'll find out when I start nailing baseboards and if I know how to use it, but I know it's a firm contact, but I got to keep it in the single actuator position because you don't want it to be a rapid fire where when you're holding the trigger down, every time if you're just holding that trigger, like there are these guys like with these nail guns when they hold the trigger and it's in double actuation, it's almost like an automatic weapon. You're just holding the trigger, and when that front actuator hits the board, it nails it every time you hit it, and you don't know if you're going flush every time. So it nails just right, flush with the board. It doesn't go too deep, which is fine. You get some when you nail into these baseboards, you just get you some spackling compound, go over it a little bit, hit it with the spackling knife, paint right over it. So I've got to get all the measurements cut for this, mark everything. Clancy is the man. We love him, dude. He is the man. He has come through with a table saw. His neighbor across the street has a table saw. So we found that, I think Sunday. It's kind of getting over there early Sunday, getting these things ripped and getting back up here. Meanwhile, between Friday and Saturday, a lot of these walls I can get done. I'm probably going to go ahead and just cut out for the doorway 1x3s. I'm going to have to, because I can do the front wall and these side walls. I can do this long wall over here for the baseboards. I could probably go ahead and do my 3x5 windows. I can go ahead and do that because nothing really needs to be cut for the 3x5s. It's just these 4 windows, my 2 front, my 2 bathroom windows that have to be cut because the width in the inside of the window is only 2.5 inches and the other's 3 inches. I couldn't get these things at 2.5 inches, so we have to rip those 1/2 inch off of them. Also, the doorway into the bathroom, same way. There's 2 different measurements, as I stated in the last video. The sides of my doors, the width of 4 inches and 5/8, and the top is 4 inches and 3/4, 32 inches. So I got to cut those 2 pieces at 6 feet 10 inches. What exactly? May make them just a hair bit longer because I can safely rather go a little bit longer than too short, and do that. So we're getting there, man. If I can just get these baseboards trimmed done and get the counter on that. There goes my weatherman shit again. Back over here. Okay, y'all don't want me to do your weather. You'd be in trouble. Let's go back. There we go. Winds to the east, but we're going west. But we get the countertop on there with the sink cut and all that done. It'd be great. Countertop is coming today. FedEx is delivering that, so FedEx is just going to have to set it on the porch. In fact, I'll have to leave FedEx a note saying, FedEx, could you please leave the counter leave delivery crossways on the porch for me. I'm sure they will. They do, but it's a big piece, so FedEx Ground is delivering it. My other thing is, now that I'm remembering it, I've got to tape off the area of the driveway so he doesn't back over my drain pipe. So we got to do that real quick. Forgot about that. I'm glad I just remembered that. All right, well, I got the driveway marked off. They won't back up over that. They've got room to go around. I know it looks like crime scene tape, but I promise you it's not a crime scene. I know some of the work I've done around here probably looks like a crime scene, but it passes. So Lowe's is on the way. Should be here in about 15 minutes. Get this stuff delivered. Oh boy, it's always something, folks, I tell you. Good Lord. If it wasn't for coffee, I'd lose my mind probably. Then again, I don't know. There'd probably be something else I drink that would be, just as long as it isn't alcohol, I'm okay with that. We don't want to ever resort to that. Never have, I never will, as far as I know. But anyway, they got my bathroom vanity. Looks good, everything's good. Spoke with the plumber, with the positioning, everything will be fine, regardless of however. He gave me the exact specs. I knew there was 15 inches somewhere, and from the center of that flange of the toilet, it's 15 inches to the side of that, is minimum code, 15 inches to the side of that bathroom vanity, so we're good there. If you want a little bit more, you're okay with that. Not going to get too much more because the drain and the water lines are to the right of the vanity, exactly where I figured. That's why I had to get the one I got. I couldn't have drawers sitting right there on the right-hand side. Couldn't find one on the left-hand side, but it's nothing. I mean, I've got one drawer at the top. That's all I need. I'm good. We're not putting a million things in that drawer in my bathroom. You know, mind you, I tried my best to live as a minimalist. And that's hard to do sometimes. You can unconsciously accrue a lot of junk. Before you know it, you can have a lot of stuff. So, it is what it is. What you gonna do? But being that it may, they didn't get any of my trim on the truck, and they had 4 pieces of trim that was nothing of what I ordered. And I'm like, I don't know what that is, but I got the tape measure. I said, that's not 3 inches wide. And I'm waiting for he goes, this is all we've got. And I said, yeah, this ain't what I ordered. So he took it back. And then there's another truck coming. And they called me up and said, listen, set it on the porch, but I'm going to text you the order, everything that's supposed to be on that truck. This is how many pieces of each that are supposed to be on that truck. I got to have it, you know. And if one of those items doesn't come, Bose knows that one driver delivered the wrong thing, they're going to have to deliver it back out. So, worst case scenario, I have to, one of those items, get it in the truck and get 8-foot pieces. I guess, I don't know. So at least 8 feet might hang out the window of my car. I can get it in my car, but 12 feet won't do it. It's not going to work. But I looked at it this way. I've got about 3 weeks left. Worst case scenario here, I work on the counter and the sink this weekend if the sink comes in, we hope. Because the counter will be here, hoping that's in good shape when it arrives, because FedEx is setting it on the porch from Wayfair. That gets here and everything looks good. I can start working on that, get the bathroom vanity installed, get all that done this weekend, and then next weekend devote my time to the trim and baseboards. I have that time to do it. That way, once I get the sink for the vanity in the bathroom and the kitchen sink, plumber can come on in and do the set out. We've got the plumbing done. All I gotta do is the baseboards and trim. We're good for final inspection. It's small stuff, window blinds, towel racks. And of course, on the window blinds might be a different story. The ones I want may have to be specially ordered, so it may be another week before those come in. I don't foresee that the window blinds are a make or breaker for final inspection, because those people, when they final inspect the house, they don't have window blinds in the windows until they move in. So it's a move-in ready thing. But window blinds are not something that they tell you can't put in. You can put those in. It's just, you know, getting it done, folks. And we will. It'll all get done. We'll get it done. One thing at a time. So, with that said, just in a holding pattern so I can figure out how everything shows up. And we're gonna get it. I'm gonna get it, one way or the other. We're gonna get it. I think the positioning of my cabinet is fine. It's just a little over 15 inches. Code, like I said, has to be 15 inches from the center of that flange to the edge of that cabinet. So I think we're good here. The marble top's right there. We'll get it, or porcelain top, whatever that is. And it'll be fine. I think everything looks okay. We'll get it. I've got to get a mirror up on the wall. That'd be one of the last things I do. It'll be all right. It'll look good. We'll get it done, folks. That we will. Well, folks, the vanity is in, ready for plumbing. Everything's measured within code of the center of the flange of that toilet. So if for some reason, crazy reason, that thing has to be moved over, it's not hard. There's just 2 screws in the wall. We slide it a little bit, but it's just inches. And it's not all that much, but this thing is in there, and it'll look cool. I gotta get a mirror for the wall. Now it's time to work on the counter and the kitchen sink and get this trim done. That counter is heavy. I tell you folks, they packaged this counter well, I will say that. I pulled up, it was laying against my porch. It wasn't even on the porch. I can understand why they didn't carry it up. This thing is heavy. God, the kicker is gonna be trying to get this marked and cut the sink hole out of it. I am probably gonna have to do that in here, but I need to cut it on something. I don't know. This is something that I'm thinking I need somebody with me here on this. It's so heavy, but the weight might be a benefit. It won't slide on me. That it won't. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure that out. I can't do anything until I get the kitchen sink so I can measure the cut. And it's a top mount kitchen sink, so when you draw the outline of the outside of that sink, there's about 3/4 of an inch in, or maybe 1/2 an inch in from where you're actually, that's where you're gonna cut the sink. What I've gotta do is cut everything but 2 little slivers, and then I have to take a 2x4 and screw 2 screws in the center to hold that counter from dropping in the center, as that block can drop. So. And that 15-inch block might be used for something else kind of cool. We'll see, I don't know. Might be, we'll see, I don't know. The butcher block's giving me an idea for like a table nook right in here. Something small for 2 or 3 people to sit at, but that's for a later time. I need to get in here and see how much room I have. We don't want to be jumping ahead and going, I want this, and that ain't gonna work. We're not going crazy with this stuff. Again, you know, we're living in minimalist, you know, but I need to set this thing up the way I want it, and that'll be. So let's see what I can get done unpackaged here. So, instructions, I'm glad I read this. This company seems pretty reputable. Hardwood Reflections. Don't know anything about them, but they package this thing well. They say, he goes, whatever you do, don't take this thing out of the package until you're ready to treat the surface. So I've got to get it out of the package to cut it, the sink. As soon as we get the sink cut, I got to be ready to get the finish on that thing. And all that finish is, I'm gonna lay plastic in here and just get it done in here. As it stands, I am probably gonna have to do the baseboards and trim first to get that out of the way so I have the room in the kitchen here to do this. I cannot be doing both. There's just not enough room in here. I've got 40 pieces of board coming here in the center of the room in the morning. I hope it shows up in the morning. They're supposed to leave first thing at 6:30, so we'll see on that deal. With that said, there's not much I can do with the top here. I don't want to take it out of the packaging. I'm glad I didn't do that. Definitely don't want to do that. It looks like, from here, it looks like it's in great shape. Anything I can sand down, you know. This is wood, folks, but it's very good quality wood. They made suggestions of mineral oil and all that stuff. There's butcher block oil that you can put on it, but I'm going to use polyacrylic. And I'm gonna do a light sand before I do it and wipe it down good and get everything ready, and then I'm gonna start applying the polyacrylic. And all sides have to be treated. So in other words, when I get the top and the sides really good and the inside where the sink is, I'm gonna have to flip it over once it dries, get the bottom, let it dry, and then get the top of the second coat again. What I might do is I might get the top and the insides and the sides real good, and on the bottom as much as I can with all 6 coats. When that's done, flip the bottom over and get that all done as well. So, but I wondered about coating all surfaces on this, but generally 5 to 6 coats of polyacrylic. Polyacrylic is water-based. It's going to dry quicker than polyurethane, and it won't yellow, which is good. I've seen a lot of good YouTube videos. YouTube University, folks. It really does help. So. And I've got a ton of cleaning to do around this house. All this dust from the drywall to get out of these windows and stuff. That's going to be a big project too, but I can't wait to get to, because that's when we're getting to final inspection. It's going to be on. I'm going to get this thing cleaned up and get ready to move in. So, bathroom vanity's done, so we're going to continue on what I can do in the next video. So I appreciate you for watching. So the next part is coming up. Hang tight. Stay tuned. Thank you.